I wanted to talk about mental state a little bit. So because you went through it, I went through it, and just having a shit time, especially kids that are building in a way, like this is for maybe once you're into junior or whatever, college after that. I wanted to talk a little bit about that because that can be distracting
Total
in
distraction.
itself. You can get lost in like a negative mental state, and it can totally sabotage yourself over time. So I don't know if you have any thoughts you want to throw on that, or I can get into what I'm saying.
Well, no. There's an answer to that, though. There's a
that's what I
total
wanna
answer
do,
because
yeah.
I'm writing a letter to Charlie before he leaves. Something beside, like you gave him a beautiful gift for him to go away, and he's putting that on his mantle. That's a reminder of how hard he's worked. There's a saying that we all came up with, like the saying that you put on there that we all thought would be the best appropriate thing for him, which he loves and that means a lot to him. And that's going to be in front of his face every day. But I'm also going to write him a letter, and I always tell him this answer anyways. But it's basically, son, remember why you're here. Just why. Why are you here? So because the why will get you through most things, unless it's not a real why.
Yep.
But if that why is to get to the NHL, to be a professional hockey player, then there's shit sandwiches that you have to eat and get through, and obstacles that you're going to have to overcome, and days that you're not going to want to have. And the easiest thing to do when things get tough is to quit and pack it in and feel sorry for yourself and find excuses and fake an injury or whatever, all these different things in. That's the mental state that you go to. But the easiest thing to do to get yourself back is to say, why am I here? And you have to ask that question every day. You have to ask it all the time, because no matter what, no matter who you are, there are still days where you just want to go home and you just want to be with your dad or your mom and have a home cooked meal and get away from people that you don't necessarily know. And the whole stress, the coach that you start off thinking that you liked him a lot, and then every time you see his face, you just want to go punch him in the face because you hate his guts, because all he does is growl and have a snarl all the time and expects you to be perfect and da 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 da. But if you understand why you're there, and if you understand the why, then it'll get you through things. So your mental state is 100% determined, or determined on why you're there. Yep. If you can keep the why like huge, then those problems are going to look very, very small at the end of the day when you actually accomplish something.
Yeah. And for me, the point that I wanted to make on that, because that was beautifully put, by the way, but the point I wanted to put on that for the guys moving away when you get in a rut, whatever, this is why it's really important to have a good environment, and not necessarily physical environment. Like you're mentioning about Charlie, the network of people he has around him now.
Very fortunate.
Very fortunate, because those are the kind of people that can pull you out when you're in a real shit time, and when you're in a dark place, when you're having a tough go.
Yeah.
And if you can have a couple people in your life, whether it's a parent or a real friend, like a real friend, not just your buddy that is on your line, that you can talk to about stuff like that.
Yeah.
Those are the people that are going to be able to dig you out of the hole.
That's right.
And help you along. Because one of the things that I made the mistake of is I was always like you said at the start, it's to myself, just figure it out, like just deal with it, not talking to people about it, and I would take it on myself. Even when I was young, I was like that. The only person I ever really talked to about anything was my mom.
Yeah.
When I was away.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a network. And it's nice to have your mom to talk to, but my mom didn't know.
Your mom was going to tell you how great you are. And
even if she's not, she didn't know what to say.
No, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
But she's going to say, you're great, you're this, you're that, and just keep trying, honey.
Exactly. And I know it's things along those lines, which is nice to get like an encouraging word when you're in a dump. But what do I actually have to do?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do I actually have to do?
Yeah.
And this is why you need resources of people that, not to toot our own horn here, but like us, that can give you actual advice of things you can actually do to help yourself when you're in a bad spot.
Yeah.
So for anyone that's in that situation, that's what I'm talking about, mental state. You can get sucked into that vortex of shit mindset. So have somewhere you can go that can dig you out of that hole.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because again, the mental states will disguise in a lot of different ways, right? In the Navy SEALs, when they do the BUDS training and stuff, people think that they're ready to go through this. And for those of I would think most people kind of had a glimpse of what they go through and the months that they're in to train to be a Navy SEAL, which is and Army Rangers, all these different things, JTF too, Canadian, is they get into these things and they literally say that it's not your body that quits, because your body can endure. and people go through it with broken legs. And I used to think that was crazy, but then I thought, oh, you played hockey for 6 months on a broken ankle.
Yep.
We play through these injuries, so I'm like, oh, that's not that crazy when you want to do something. But physically, people get through things. You can get through it. It might hurt like hell. You find a way to get out of it. When your mental state decides that you're done, the smallest excuse in the world will make you quit.
Yep.
The smallest thing ever, and it's a legit thing.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're going through moving away from home or whatever, when you're going in the shit sandwich side, if you don't, like I said, if that dream isn't huge and you're not staring at it every day and it means the world to you, then the smallest thing will get you to pack it in.
Yep.
And then then if you do pack it in, you're gonna look back and you're gonna think how silly it was, how stupid. You're gonna sit there because I missed my mom for 6 months. Is this the worst thing that could happen to a human being? Oh, poor me. I was in a house that lived on a golf course with a nice big bedroom and nice meals every day, and it was just poor me. But when you're going through a mental state and you look at the like we've said a million times, you look at the problems and the issues instead of the dream, that environment will beat you. And that's got to just be bigger, man. It's got to be bigger. You got to be looking at that. I want to play in the NHL, because at the end of the day, if you quit on it or you just didn't give it everything you got because you made an excuse, you will look back and you'll sit there and say, I'm an idiot. I gave up. Because look at this wall. Every guy on that wall that I've trained, they never have to work a day in their life again. Like when you look at someone, like I just go like that one. I'm not going to say the name. That one right there was making $6 million a year for another 6 years. Another one was 67 million. I said, it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it.
And that what you're saying, that's exactly what happened to me, man. I remember like the little things. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go. And I don't look back with regret because I didn't actually have any better information.
Yeah.
But when I look back on it, the things that threw me off were little things that didn't need to.
No.
And that's such a it's almost tragic, man, because you're in such a position where the position that I was in, had a chance to really go off and get something done exactly what I wanted, right? Yeah. And those little things that throw you off if you don't have something that can yank you out, if the dream's not big enough, like you're saying, or you don't have resources to help you to rally out of it. Yeah. It's too bad, because then you look back and then you're like, shit, if I only would have done this, this, and this, or I could have done this, this, and this, or whatever. And then it's like, man, missed the boat. That's it. And that's your only chance. Yeah. That's it.
It's just like even in a workout, right? You choose not to. Like it doesn't happen very often, but there's days where you just come in and you go, I'm just not working out today. Yep. I just don't feel it. And at the end of the day, every single time, every now and then I go, I'm glad I did that today because I needed a rest. That does happen. But most of the times, if I just choose not to work out that day at the midday or whatever, I just sit there and go, why are you? It was an hour. You couldn't make an hour for yourself today, you little wiener.
Yeah.
An hour, right? But in that state, you just say, I just don't have it. And you convince yourself, whatever you want.